this out of the way. Hey, Sarah, is there any way that you could print off the agenda? No?
No, I don't have. I don't have access to the computer.
Oh, okay.
Or else I would.
Okay, that's fine. Not worried about it then.
It's not normally this exciting.
Yeah, maybe the our clerk did
You want me to check the box?
yeah.
You need us to do anything?
No, we're good.
Chris, you have the agendas?
Sarah's getting that right now.
Getting us ready. She's part of the conservation. Just when you want.
No, there's no agenda.
That's Chris.
Masochistic, but other than that,
I gotta do my duty, Jeff. I can't leave the town in shambles, can I?
Yeah, someone like that. No, no. Right. No, it's not.
Do we know if our other new members do we have enough seats? All right.
it's a witness.
Oh, witness seat. Emily's not coming.
So just the five of us?
Just the five of us. We can make it.
All right, no singing. That's not part of your job. There we go.
They're not printed out. I don't have the password. No, today's Tuesday.
Password for the copy?
No, you have to be connected or else I print it.
How do you have to be connected? Like
Jacob,
Wi-Fi?
Jacob has to connect you.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe the Wi-Fi will let you, I don't know.
I'll see if I can do it. Give me 1 second.
I don't work here anymore. I don't have anything. I left. Hey, listen, I just got the executive assistant job this Wednesday. Congratulations. So I will be Karen and Spencer. Cool. Good for you.
Right.
Yeah,
Transfer Westbrook too.
yes, yeah. Yeah, so Westbrookfield, I was the second table.
Looks like the
Spencer,
Wi-Fi.
so Brenda, that's her, she's one I already applied, so the town administrator asked me to apply for it. I looked at the charter right now. Manager, town planner, and training coordinator. So I got left, I can meet in Spencer right now. That I had to meet, I was like,
She came to
It's actually, it's like, I think it's the library. I think Brenda's taking care of that. And I think there's, I think there's, yeah, I think there is some things in motion to make it like officially.
And you had your meetings there again, so.
Yes, we're back to the meetings there. We're just gonna make announcements and there's
Yeah.
some requests.
Yeah, like 7 days in it, and they said, yeah, that's nice.
I am not the chair. Additional, volunteer clean grades and stuff like that. Is it on one hand?
Oh, one hand.
On one hand?
Go try that another day in there.
Yeah. I hate when people ask.
Don't talk to me. No, it's okay. I agree. If I draw this stuff, I'm so scared.
Did everyone sign in already?
Reagan, I hope you don't mind, but I used you and Woody Guthrie in the same sentence as an example of people naming their children after the current president.
That's why my ears were burning.
Hey, being in the same sentence with Woody Guthrie is pretty good. Nobody writes as much as him.
He's still alive?
No, he died a long time ago. But he wrote 10,000 plus songs that have never been published. So the Dropkick Murphys' last two albums are all Woody Guthrie covers that were never recorded.
Wow,
Yeah.
good to know.
Yep. Covered by rap, country, rock, folkies. All you have to do is talk to his daughter and get permission, and she will let you use the songs.
Okay, so, good evening, everybody. It is 6:35 on June 11th. Let's call the Brookfield Conservation Commission meeting into session. This meeting is being recorded by myself, and I assume by private citizen Christopher Lepek. Is anybody else recording? Nope, okay. I'm gonna move right on to our agenda, which agenda item is gonna be welcome new member, Emily Getaway. Unfortunately, she will not be here tonight, so we'll just push it on to our next meeting. Number two will be approval of historic meeting minutes. April 16, 2013, April 15, 2014, May 20, 2014, June 17, 2014, July 15, 2014, August 19, 2014, September 16, 2014, October 21st, 2014, November 18, 2014, December 16, 2014, January 20, 2015, February 17, 2015, March 17, 2015, April 21st, 2015, May 19, 2015, June 16, 2015, March 15, 2016, April 19, 2016, November 15, 2016, January 17th, 2017, September 18th of 2018, December 18th, 2018, March 19th, 2019, April 16th, 2019, May 21st, 2019, April 20th, 2021, April 28th, 2021, October 21st, 2021, January 20th, 2022, and April 28th of 2022. Did all the commission members get a chance to review these? Does anybody want to make any revisions?
Nope. Wasn't there.
Okay. Just so that the commission members know, I didn't put this up online because it was a communication between me and the Attorney General, and I don't want it to constitute an open meeting law violation. It just gives us permission to do what we're doing here tonight, as far as the historical meeting minutes.
And from what I understand, the reason why we have to redo these minutes is because they were lost.
Right, so basically, the meeting minutes were done on a laptop, and so the meeting minutes would have been on the laptop. Also, in the beginning, earlier years, the Conservation Commission would have sent a draft over to the Select Board. So I checked with the Select Board to see if they had copies. They do not. I checked it goes back to this laptop. I had Mike contact every Conservation Commission member that was on the commission during these dates to see if they had any information, and I also reached out to numerous individuals myself. So then what we did after that is Christopher, our clerk, and myself research state records. So you'll see that like some of the meetings will cite an NOI, for example, or an RDA. So because we got that data from the state. So a lot of effort was put into this.
We appreciate your effort.
Thank you. It was a joint effort, not just me.
Oh, I'm sure.
All right.
Move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Who's gonna?
I'm gonna let Sarah have it.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Okay, so there's a motion on the table to accept the minutes as presented, as listed on our agenda by Mr. Meeker. It's been seconded by Sarah Campbell. Is there any discussion on the motion?
No.
Okay, hearing none, take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All in favor? The minutes are now accepted. Thank you. All right, agenda item number 3 will be approval meeting minutes of October 26, 2023, March 20, 2024, and April 25th, 2024. We will have to defer that to our next meeting. They're just simply not ready. The item number 4 will be approval of executive session meeting minutes. I will need these back, and they're going to be for the people that attended the meeting, as I understand the correct protocol. If you need to make a correction, just please don't verbalize it to say, you know, I pointed out, say that you need to correct so-and-so, or whatever the case may be.
I was not.
You're not. Okay. And so Sarah doesn't need a copy.
She does not.
No.
Okay.
It's 3 pages?
Should we do? Does it say 3?
No, just,
It does say 3.
does it say 3?
It does say 3, yeah.
I'm missing the second page.
Is there supposed to be a second page, or is this just one? of
Yeah,
those
if you go
things?
from the bottom of the first page to the third page, so I think we probably have to.
Okay, we'll defer this time. There is a page missing. My apologies. Okay, so item number 5 on our agenda is going to be review of amended order for conditions for ASD Cronin MA Solar Inc. Is that applicant here? I understand you have some paperwork for us?
Quite a bit, yes.
Okay.
And very quickly, I'm Corey McCandless with Pure Sky Energy. We're working on a solar project located off of Long Hill Road in the town of Brookfield. But the project also spans municipalities in West Brookfield, in a small section in Warren. It's an interesting project for sure. In these packets, you will find a couple of items. You'll find a cover letter explaining the changes that we're here tonight to talk about. You'll find an updated site plan set, and you will also find the original order of conditions. And then I also have one for the clerk, for Chris.
Yeah, I'll take it.
And then had 2 more. One would be for Emily. I think she's not
Oh,
here
yeah,
tonight.
Emily, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and then Candace too. All right.
Yeah, so there should be 8 copies.
Thanks, Corey.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very good.
Gosh, she's pretty good.
So, yeah, so sorry, before we continue, introduce our partner.
So my name is Nick Santangelo, it's a London here with Bill Thomas. And we're working with ASD Cronin and Solar LLC.
Now, we used to be known as AMP, the parent company, my employer. We were AMP, and so if this seems familiar, it's because when we were doing this originally, I was under AMP. Since then, we have changed our company name. So we're now Pure Sky Energy, and that's our new logo. So, yeah, so the cover letter just really kind of outlines is that Nick and his team with Beals and Thomas, they are the new contractors doing all of the civil engineering for the project. And there's a stream crossing, which you'll see on the tab on the site plan set. If you want to all turn together, there's a page marked, should be sheet C600. And what this is a detail of the new areas that we're proposing to have wetland replication area. When Nick was looking at this with his team, the culvert that was there wasn't necessarily large enough to handle the stream that flowing underneath it. So they were going to make that culvert a little bit larger to accommodate the stream volume, and it is it impacting the BBW?
Yeah, so in part, the original amended order of conditions accounted for approximately 473 square feet of wetland impact, and therefore, according to the state guidelines, you have to provide a similar amount of replication. However, in review of the original plan set provided by the engineer of record at the time, there did not appear to be a wetland replication area, so these plans account for that. So adjacent to the new precast concrete box culvert, there will be a small wetland replication area off the side of that, so that way we can replace in kind at the same elevation and in close proximity.
And it's about 700 square feet.
Correct.
And you'll see in the notes and the details, it's all hydrophytic vegetation that we're proposing to plant. So plants that like wet, swampy areas, and the soils will eventually, become more hydric, have a higher hydric rating, so they'll become more saturated. And that's kind of a very short and simple way to, how these wetlands are created. We're not pulling water, it's really gonna be, a dry house stream.
So it'll eventually take on similar characteristics to the surrounding wetlands. It's basically the goal at the end of the day.
So we'll have to have hydric soil.
Yep, so inside of there, it goes through the details and notes on, when the replication area could be constructed, as well as how it would be constructed, taking down those, the A and B layer soil horizons, getting down to that parent material, and filling back up with an organic.
The elevations that we're looking at. So your culvert is at the low point, I'm guessing,
Correct,
replication area is where,
on the low point as well. Yeah, so the wetland replication area is designed to be at the same elevation as the wetland adjacent to it.
I've seen them not like that, that's all I asked.
Yeah, no, absolutely fair enough.
You're keeping the soil on site to reduce the replication.
How far in construction are you?
Not at all. So we're going before you tonight to try to amend our existing order of conditions because we want to get fulfill this permit set on the record.
Okay.
Have you presented to the other two towns yet?
We're working with the planning board right now for this on Brookfield and will be.
Yeah, that was my next question. Are you going before the planning board too?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on the planning board, so actually for a special meeting for tomorrow night.
Okay.
Yes, we're still getting some of the last items together for the public hearing. But I think that we've got almost all of them ready to send over to Chair Urquhart. And I have been talking to West Brookfield as well. The only body that I haven't reached out to yet, and that's just because this has been very recent new developments, is the Stormwater Authority. But we will, we'll be talking to them, and I have been speaking to the chair of the ZBA in West Brookfield.
So there's a slope going in there.
Yeah. We'll have retaining walls on either side of the culvert, which will allow for us to do some concrete put down there. So,
And when we
You
say we
have socks
have,
and everything on.
for the erosion control barrier, yeah, we'll have a compost filter sock and silt fence as the base.
I just can't see it.
Yep, so we'll have that on the bottom, and then we usually have a silt fence on the top, just that way we can allow some water to perk through, but keep it clean until we're ready to
you have a construction plan?
Not yet.
Yep. And did, the other thing I'd ask, so the size of this project, how many acres is this?
I think it's 60 acres total.
60 acres? Did you?
Between all three towns, I think.
So it's probably a little bit late now, obviously, but did you go to National Heritage or?
Yeah.
Yeah. They did. Yeah, so the project, so, I don't know, I feel like it's been like forever. That they've been going through this process. I don't know, so they went through the whole process to begin with, and then the whole deal with Warren happened, and they couldn't access from Warren, so then they came to Brookfield and asked that they could access from Brookfield, so then the whole project was put on pause. Then it went through AMP Energy, and then it changed, and then they figured out what they wanted to do. They got the approval from Brookfield Planning Board, and then they amended the last plan, I think, last year for the culvert. The planning board went out there, and we reviewed the site, and that's when they approved the project. And then they amended the culvert, and then a couple of us had the meeting, and we approved and amended the culvert.
So when was the order of conditions approved?
So the original order of conditions was approved, I don't know. I know the amended one was 2022,
I've got amended as of July 2021.
or 2021, yeah, or 2022.
So at that point, did they ask for a new clock?
Yes, they did ask for a new clock.
So July 2021, so you're up against it right now, correct?
Those order conditions usually go for 3 years, depending on how long the extension was.
Yeah, I wanna say it was 2022 that they asked, because I knew that they were on a time clock. I had talked to Andrew about being on a time clock, and he knew he was on a time clock, so I'm pretty sure they got it extended another time, so we can look into it. Yeah,
We were on in 21, I remember.
Yeah,
this.
we
Yeah, yeah, we went on in
22.
21, so it had to have been
Maybe we
22.
gave the extension in 22, but it
Two.
started in 21, and the extension.
Was it,
started-
Well,
so an amendment to the original order of conditions doesn't necessarily start a new clock?
Unless they,
Right, but they did ask, no, Andrew did ask for a new clock, and
Yeah.
that was the whole point of doing the amendment.
Yes.
Because they were running out of time, and they didn't know if they were gonna get it, and if they didn't get the amendment from Brookfield, they were gonna have to restart from all three towns.
that's the way I remember too, so their clock,
And I
your
didn't-
clock doesn't end until 2025.
And we didn't want them to restart, because then they would have to go through Warren and West Brookfield and everybody again.
Yeah, I think
A
their
year
clock,
and a half.
I think their clock is good until 25.
So you are right, amended order of conditions.
Yes, does not
make
make
sense.
sense, yeah.
Yeah, and it's tough because anytime we change one tiny little thing, there's a ripple effect among, at least 2 other towns, 4 other bodies. So we are eager to wrap this up.
Sure.
Is, I would like to go out there and see the site. I don't know if anyone else has had a chance to do that yet.
Yeah, I haven't been out there since before they started the curb cut, so I'd like to go out there too.
We can accommodate a sidewalk.
We can do it on contingency, if the sidewalk is satisfactory, we can add or do the sidewalk and do it for a couple of meetings.
So the sidewalk would be in their their originals, in their special order of conditions that I wrote for them. They would require, the commission would require a sidewalk anyway.
I would note as well that the plans before you are still in draft form, they're not stamped, so anything that you do amend, I'd like to have the official stamp date in there, so that way we can reference the exact plans that you're reviewing at the time, so we're still finalizing the review, but we wanted to bring this before you to determine what the path forward was with the commission.
So you don't even have a DEP number yet?
We have our original DEP number for
Yeah.
the original project, and this wouldn't get a new one, should be amended, the amended would still be the same number. It would just show up on the registry afterwards.
I'm gonna be picky and I'm gonna say it's not stamped.
Yeah,
So
I was thinking
I'm
this.
gonna say, with it being not stamped in the sidewalk, I would continue it until we go out there and it's stamped.
Do you know when you have the plans ready to go?
Probably next week.
Next week?
Yeah, so then what we wanted to do is figure out if this was the appropriate path forward, is to do the amended, or if this could be considered a minor change, or how the commission wanted to determine these modifications to be handled.
And obviously you prefer a minor change.
We don't have a preference either way.
You don't, okay.
Honestly, we can go whichever way you'd like to go.
Okay.
That said, we would appreciate, because it has been ongoing for years.
Right.
I think it's, 7 years now?
Yeah.
And you are familiar with it, know it probably more than I do. So I would urge the board to consider, just, after we have a site visit and we have some stamped plans, if you're comfortable with those, just approving those, without going through a public hearing. That would extend, the clock quite a bit. And that's just something that we're hoping to avoid.
Okay.
But we respect the board's decision
No.
and your discretion.
Yeah.
I think we at least have a site visit.
Yeah, I think we have a site visit. I'm pretty sure I took pictures too of the culvert beforehand, so I can dig them up. And we can go out there and then, yeah, I agree. As long as the site visit goes well and the stamp plans are good.
You're okay with the no public hearing part too?
Yeah, I'm okay with no public hearing. I feel like it's been going on.
Has there been a public hearing in the past?
Yeah, we just had a public hearing so planning board wise, they've had public hearings. Conservation Commission, they haven't had a public hearing in a while, but I mean, honestly, if you live on Long Hill Road, you've been up to date with the project, so I would say no public hearing, and I would just say stamped plans and sidewalk.
So all we can do right now is continue them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So motion to continue until the next meeting.
yeah. And I'm open to a special meeting too, if we need to have a special meeting.
The difference is going through a public hearing with the planning board.
Yeah, also,
Which would
yeah, that's what I
cover
mean,
us,
like the
right?
public has had their chance to talk.
That would cover us.
It doesn't really cover us because it covers the
All the
public,
project.
right,
Don't worry
but
about it.
the issue I have with not having a public hearing is we're excluding anybody in the public that wants to make a comment about the amended plans, whether that is gonna be, like whether someone's gonna come forward or not, to exclude the public on that, I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me.
I don't know, I feel
I
like,
would respectfully note that the changes that are being made would probably be more in planning purview than
Planning.
conservation,
yeah,
personally.
yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, they've had 7 years, like this project has been going
I
on
know.
for so
This is not a last minute thing.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not a last minute change. I would say if it was a big change, then also I would say yes, that we
Okay.
should go through a public hearing, but it is a minor change.
Okay, so I believe, so point of information, you made a, motion, right?
Yeah, I move to continue this matter until our next meeting on the 10th.
But would you like to schedule a sidewalk before?
Yeah, we'll
Yes.
schedule a sidewalk,
Yeah.
okay, so let's,
Sorry?
why don't,
Yeah, the 10th of July, is that correct? That wasn't a holiday, was it?
no, the holiday was on June 19th. Okay, so can we, alright, so there's a motion to continue to our next meeting, which is in July 10th. Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Yeah, I did it again, there's 2 seconds.
I am Megan.
Okay, Megan. Okay, so we'll have to take on the motion. So obviously, can we schedule the site visit now? You guys could do that or no?
Yeah,
We
let's
can
do
be
that.
available as you are.
Okay. What do you guys schedule okay?
Next week would be better.
Next week? Does next week with a request for everybody else?
So I have
We don't need all of us, we need at least 2 of us though,
yeah,
right?
I have a meeting in Spencer on Tuesday, but besides that, I'm okay.
Yeah, we just need 2. I mean, that's. I can make myself available, anytime.
Or do you guys have a time that's available later this week? Well, it's, I mean, it's just.
I can't do this week.
Okay.
Did you want to be at the sidewalk with us? Okay, what is your schedule there? Anything? Okay.
I could do anytime Wednesday or Thursday or Friday of next week. Friday of those.
I prefer Thursday.
Thursday, so can we say Thursday the 20th?
Yep.
Yeah,
Alright, let's narrow it down to a time.
anytime after 12 is good with me.
So,
Before 6.
What was it?
Before 6.
Before 6, can we do, 6.
Well, I work,
No,
yeah,
before
I work,
6.
I work, but yeah, I can try to find that out.
Okay. All right, so it's gonna be Thursday, the 20th at 1 PM, and we'll meet you at the site.
Let's try to be at a Long Hill Road, instead of Cronin, because that way you guys, it's right down the road from where the entrance is.
What would the number be?
Yeah, with
134?
134, okay.
Yeah, if you,
20th, 134, 1 p.m.
Yeah,
there's
so-
like a little parking spot pad, like up on the right when you when you come up on Long Hill Road, it'll be on the left. If you go up a little bit, there's a place for everyone to park on the left, on the right.
It looks like a road,
Yeah, it
gravel
looks like a
driveway that
road,
goes
yeah.
nowhere.
Okay.
So-
There was a reason for that.
Can we amend your motion just to be at our next meeting or on the date, just in case we have a meeting between now and then?
Yeah, I'll amend his motion.
Okay. So the motion has been amended, it'll be at our next meeting, just in case we have a meeting between now and then for this to be back on our agenda. So, is there any more discussion on the motion?
You need a second.
Okay, can I get a second on the amended?
Second.
Any discussion on the amended? All right, hearing none, take it, let's vote on the amended motion. Aye.
Aye.
All right, so carries, thank you. Thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so the next thing that's gonna be on our agenda is going to be view of newly created wetland,
Open meeting.
yeah, open meeting law complaint, Karen Reynolds. Did everybody get a chance to review the complaint?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you read the complaint out loud so that?
Excuse me, Ms. Reynolds?
Sorry.
Okay, so just so that we're clear on how we do our meeting here, so you'll ask to get recognized. Once you get recognized, then you'll direct your comments to me.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right, so did everybody have a chance to read the complaint?
Yes.
Okay, all right, so just so everybody knows that, I did invite Ms. Reynolds here today so that she could, give us any additional information or to let us know of her complaint, so,
Okay, and do you read the complaint?
was that?
Do you read the complaint? I don't know if everybody here have they seen or heard the complaint?
I haven't seen an
So-
official form.
So, again, so basically what we're gonna do is that, once you have the floor, you'll direct the questions to the chair, and that way there, the meeting will go through, nice and smooth. So, I wouldn't be able to answer the question whether other people read the complaint. Do you want to read the complaint?
I would like you to read the complaint or one of you to read. the
Okay, well, this is your opportunity, I'm giving you the opportunity to give the
Sure,
commission
I'll read it.
information, so if you want to read your complaint, to us, you can.
I will read it however you,
It's up to you.
I will read it.
Okay.
Okay, so, the meeting for the RDA was held on May 15th, 2024. The applicant was Keith Realty, and they were seeking permission to approve a driveway construction over a portion of an existing cart path. Abutters were notified by mail, and that was received on May 9th, that the proposed activity was driveway construction partly in a buffer zone to a wetland. 3 households attended the meeting. At the onset of the meeting, the discussion between the board and the applicant, David Fromm, began with plans for a proposed road with updated diagrams. The road is to be 20 feet wide, approximately. When public discussion was allowed, I brought up that we were here to discuss a driveway and when did it change to a road. The notice for the RDA was for a driveway. I requested that the meeting and vote be delayed. It was denied. I brought up delaying the vote up several times during the course of the meeting. The notice the abutters received was not sufficiently specific to reasonably inform the public of the issue to be discussed. More abutters would have attended had the notice stated a 20-foot wide road to be constructed versus a driveway along an existing cart path. I also believe the notification that was received by the abutters was intentionally deceptive. The detailed plans by an engineer were obviously initiated and completed by the time of the mailing of the RDA abutter notification. More people would have shown up for a road versus a driveway. And that was my complaint.
Is you have anything else you'd like to add to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Sure,
So
ma'am.
as far as the incorrect abutter notification, I looked up all the abutters. They were Rice Corner, Lake Road, the DCR, Fish and Game, and they were also Molasses Hill Road. When I contacted the different, and I've got a lot of different information from Massachusetts Conservation Commission says that an RDA is for a driveway, and that any road should have been a notice of intent. If they got an RDA, then it should have gone further after the RDA was granted to a notice of intent, and then the DEP would have come out and issued permits. The application also was deceptive in the fact that an RDA, no one from Rice Corner Road is gonna come out to look at a driveway on Molasses Hill. They would if they knew what it was for. Fish and Game isn't gonna come out to look at a driveway, neither is the DEP, okay? On the application for the, that was given and filled out on the Conservation Commission was incorrect. It also stated a driveway along a cart path. It was form number WPA1. It was, again, that's not what they're doing there. You were there today and you saw that it's not a driveway, and you didn't approve the driveway, you approved the road. The 5-day notice in the newspaper was not given according to, let's see, which one? Mass DEP. They said it was mailed on the 7th, but it didn't appear in the newspaper until the 9th. That's only a 4 business day. So that is in violation of our bylaws. All right. Keith Realty, that was the one that applied for this, and it's under their name, was dissolved in 2021, and they were no longer a corporation up till yesterday. Yesterday at 1 o'clock, they were still a dissolved corporation when I called. Today, it's amended and corrected. So the application was fraudulent, it was incorrect, he should not have been filing anything. You accepted it without checking it, and I just think that this whole thing should be thrown out, and you should have to reapply and go through the whole process again, and it should be stopped.
Was there anything
Okay,
else?
I think there is. I think that, that meeting that I asked, Candace said that she was here, that she was gonna just abstain, and stay at the meeting. At first, someone said, are you recusing herself? And she did say, yes, and Mr. Fromm spoke up and said, no, because there won't be a quorum if you leave. So she stayed. I think that anybody who has any business relationship on any of the boards, and now people are going to be checking, okay, should recuse themselves. All right, if you were a tenant or a former tenant, you should recuse yourself.
Anything else?
And I don't know if anyone else has any questions. I think I've pretty much covered everything that, oh, the other thing I just want to ask, and maybe you can let me know, but I can check it out. They just said that the Fish and Wildlife requires no tree clearing, except through November and March. Is that true, or?
Okay.
So I didn't understand what that was about from the previous one, but he's clearing trees, and if it requires, Fish and Game to come out also.
Was there anything else?
Nope, that's
Okay.
it.
I have a question about it.
No, I'm not recognizing you right now. Just give me 1 second. So just so everybody knows on the commission that I have to file a disclosure with the town as an overkill. This complaint is against the commission, and I was like, not sure whether the disclosure had to be filed or not, because it has to do with Mr. Farm. But went back and forth, I spoke to the town administrator, and so a disclosure has been filed, because no matter what the outcome of this complaint does, it has had no bearing on Mr. Farm one way or the other. So I didn't know if that's what it was, on eventually I filed it or not filed, but I filed it anyways, so a disclosure has been filed with the town. how do you guys want to proceed? I mean, I've done a lot of research into this, and I mean, do we want to do what we did last time with the whole guy where we issue a formal response? Or do we want to debate this issue?
I'm gonna raise a point of order.
What's your point, Mr. Chafin?
My point of order is you're a tenant in this in France, and I think
Yeah,
you
you're out of
should
order.
recuse
I'm
yourself.
calling your point out of order. I'm calling your point out of order.
I'm asking the board to.
I'm calling your point out of
I'm
order.
asking the board to reconvene the board based on him being
Right.
a tenant of
You're-
Mr. France.
You're now going to issue a formal warning. If you interrupt our proceedings, you're going to be asked to leave. Okay?
Point of order,
What's your point, Ms. LePeck?
did you have the select board review and approve your
Okay, your point is out of order, Madam LePeck.
Why?
Because that's not a procedural mistake with our meeting. So if there's a procedural mistake
You're
with,
participating right now.
that's what I am. So I am participating right now. I did the disclosure. I talked to town leadership and I followed it. So that's as far as that's going to
That's
go.
not what the law says.
Okay. So again, so that the commission so that the commission is on the correct page. We have an open meeting law complaint against the Conservation Commission. We do not have an open meeting law complaint against Mr. David Farm or Keith Realty or any other thing, because that's just not possible. You can't file an open meeting law complaint against an individual. You file an open meeting law complaint against a person. Against a body. So this, we could get into this. I'll tell you.
Yeah, hold on. So I'm gonna be honest. I unfortunately could not be here due to medical reasons at the last meeting, but I bet you I would have been here because I have some questions. Because according to the bylaw, and I'm gonna be blunt as possible, according to the bylaw in Brookfield, an RDA requires 14 days notice, according to the public hearing. My question would be to Ms. Reynolds is when did Keith Realty send out the notice? Just because she got it on May 9th does not mean that, so he could have sent it out the 14 days prior. But we have discussed at previous meetings that we are going to follow the bylaw, and according to the bylaw, an RDA requires a butter notification. So that would require the 14 days. So that is my first issue.
Where are you getting the 14 days from?
That is a chapter, it's a Mass General Law. A public hearing requires 14 days notice.
Okay, so here's the issue we have with that. Okay, so let me explain that to you. So we have the Massachusetts Fish and Wildlife. Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act calls for an RDA to be a 5-day. Let me finish. A 5-day notice. Okay, and it requires no notification to the abutters. There's a public meeting. Our town bylaw says an RDA has to have a public hearing with a 5-day notice with notification to the abutters. Massachusetts general law says that a public hearing, has to have 14 days notice, but we're claiming in our bylaw, we're claiming home rule, which overrides the state law, which then it doesn't. So we have a conflict in our bylaw against the state law.
Which we've established.
So
And so I thought we were going based off of the 14 days going in the future.
that we were going to have we were going to take out 2 legal ads.
Yeah, I thought any RDA going forward, we had to contact the selectmen, the Board of Health, whoever else the list said, according to the bylaw, that we had to do a 14-day abutter notification, that we had to do 2 public hearings 14 days prior and 7 days prior.
But that's not what our bylaw says. I'll put up right
Okay,
now.
so this is my problem though, because just because the bylaw doesn't say it, but we've established that we're going, so are we going based off of a public hearing according to the Mass General Law? Are we going based off of a public hearing in our bylaw? Because now I feel like we're picking and choosing when we're gonna do 14 days and when we're gonna do 5 and blah, 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 blah.
No, because our bylaw doesn't say 14 days, it says 5. It says an RDA will be 5 days. It concurs with the Massachusetts Wetlands
But
Protection
the
Act.
National Grid on Weber Road had to do 14 days, so, because we told them to, so you can't tell me that.
We told them that they had to do 14 days. They could've
Yeah,
put one
and they
ad.
had to do the legal ad. No, they had to, so which one, and that's when we established, so,
Sarah,
I don't know.
they took out one ad. They took out one end, and I wasn't aware that it was a 14-day.
I don't know, I just think that in my opinion, I feel like that we should find out more information and we should establish about this abutter notification because, I don't know, I feel like it's wishy-washy.
What part of it's wishy-washy?
The abutter notification,
The one that was sent out in the mail?
yeah.
How so?
And I'm not saying that, I don't mind and my problem isn't with it stating a driveway, my problem isn't stating it with the road, that's not my problem. You don't, technically, the abutter notification doesn't have to state what the project is, it's up to the abutter to
Right.
find out the information themselves. My problem is, which one are we doing? Are we doing the 14 days according to the Mass General Law for a public hearing? Were they notified in time? Because then I'm thinking of it as a legal standpoint. So were they notified appropriately? And how were they notified? Was it certified mail? Was it a green card?
It was a certified mailing, correct?
No,
No,
it was a mailing,
no.
it was a mailing certificate.
This is.
It was certified. No, it doesn't have to be signed.
So all
There's
it
a-
was is,
the form that
Do you have it? Can I see the date that was stamped?
It wasn't,
it was a certified mail, not receipt required.
or registered.
Yeah, so
Right.
basically they certified that he dropped it off and they postmarked it that day.
Not that they dropped it off, they take possession.
Yeah.
So the problem we have right now is that the post office evolves. The services that are available last year weren't available in 2013. So the notification that we uploaded onto My Town Government, where the post office certified, and Mary Ann DePinto said that this is equivalent and acceptable as the green card notification was established in 2017 by the United States Postal Service. Our bylaw was written in 2015. So this service that was used wasn't even available at the time.
May it be recognized.
1 second, please. Page 29, so. So right away, it says that the bylaw is intended to utilize a home rule authority so that the municipality can protect their resources under the Wetland Protection Act. So we're claiming home rule. So that throws the state out. But the problem we have, the challenge we have with our bylaw is that, you know, if we're claiming home rule, then we go by our bylaws. We don't go by the Wetland Protection Act,
I don't know, I'm gonna be
Which are more
honest.
stringent.
which is right. Exactly.
So
The other things too is that, like I said, that this is so outdated. This should really be, it should be modified.
We can't debate how outdated it is. I mean,
Right,
it
no, but
is what it is. and it's
It is what it is, but
Yeah.
yeah,
And
but,
we're held responsible for upholding that.
right. And one of the challenges that we have is like, you know, Sarah said, I wasn't here during this meeting.
Otherwise, I'll speak because it was my understanding. So, looking back at this and taking it all in, I think one of the things, one, the timing, that's key, and the wording. So I do have issue with what it says in our bylaws. It says certified mail, not a certified mailing. It
Right, it
says.
says certified mail with green card,
Yeah.
return to,
That's-
yeah.
So that,
right.
it's definitely stated there in our bylaws. And then the timing, which I can't pull up right now, but you're telling me it's only 5 days for an RDA?
I'm looking for that right now.
Because it.
Yeah, it's right here, it's right here.
Because it states a hearing.
Right, so it says any person filing a permit or application for an RDA and RDA or request that the conservation at the same time shall give written notice thereof by certified return receipt requested or hand delivered to all abutters at their mailing address as shown at the most recent applicable tax list. Within 300 feet. the commission shall conduct a public hearing on any permit application, RDA, with written notice given at the expense of the applicant at least 5 business days prior to the hearing in a newspaper of general circulation in the municipality. The commission shall commence the public hearing within 21 days of the completed permit application. So it's right there.
No, so an RDA does not require a butter notification.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying. If we're claiming home rule, that's what our bylaw says.
Bylaw says it, but
But the bylaw says a public hearing, so a public hearing, so it doesn't, so a newspaper.
Right, there's conflicts.
Master law says, and so what we say right here is hearing.
Right.
So does that default to Master laws?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we're saying that if we're claiming home rule on our bylaw, then all mass law is out the window, and we are claiming that our definition of a hearing is by what we say in our bylaw, which is a 5-day. So we have to say we're claiming home rule. This is the bylaw. These are the rules we're going to play this game, and that these are the rules we're following. We can't sit there and say that now that we're calling it a hearing, we're going to revert back to the state law and say, what does the state law say for a hearing? It has to be one or the other. But
I agree.
They contradict each other.
But I feel like we shouldn't be discussing this now. I feel like we should have discussed it beforehand in March or February when we established that there was a bylaw problem. Because now we are getting applications, and now, yeah, I have a problem.
So I think the bigger problem is it's contradictory within the document itself.
Right, it is. But
It says it's called a hearing,
Right.
and it's also saying 5 days.
Right. So it doesn't contradict itself. What it does is it contradicts mass state law.
Well, Mass state law, if we call it a hearing, and by letter, what it says in there is it's called a hearing.
Right.
So that reverts back to 10 days.
14.
14, sorry.
14.
And our bylaws say 5.
Right, but here's the thing, at the very beginning of our bylaws, we're making a declaration, we're claiming home rule. When we make that declaration, we're saying these are the rules. So we can't sit there and pick parts of the state law and say it applies
That's
to
what I'm
this,
saying.
that, that.
How do we determine whether this is a hearing or a meeting?
Goes by our bylaws.
But our bylaws says both.
No, it says that.
Well, it says it's a hearing, but it applies the 5-day rule.
Right, exactly, so that's what we have to apply.
But legally, a hearing requires 14 days.
Under the Massachusetts general laws, a hearing requires 14 days. Okay,
so
but we're not following that. If there was, like say hypothetically, if there was no bylaw, okay, and we were going by the Wetlands Protection Act, then if somebody had an NOI, it would be 14 days, because that's what the state law requires. The Wetlands Protection Act requires it, and then the general laws requires it for 14 days. An RDA requires a 5-day notice is considered a public meeting. So,
Just can you state your name for the record?
Jeff Clark, 101 Brunel Avenue. Just listening to this, the thing that I heard, I'm sorry, Karen. I mean, the one that was more important to me was the notice of intent versus the other issue, because she's saying that this seems fraudulent or claiming fraud. I mean, for that, I think the commission is at risk from a legal standpoint. That should be a key issue to
okay,
to
so
address.
I'll answer that question for you.
Yeah.
So when a person comes before us, they're gonna have two possible, the most common two possible application, which is gonna be an RDA, request for determination of actability. That means that they are doing work near.
I'm sorry, it was a request
For application for a request for application for determination actability.
accessibility, okay.
Right, so what they're asking for is that they're saying that they're going to do work near a wetland, not in it, near it, normally within 100 feet. If they're within 50 feet, then we can say it's gonna be an RDA or an NOI. Okay, so if they are outside 50 feet, it's always gonna be an RDA, okay? If they're doing work inside the wetland, that they're at the beach or whatever the case may be, that's gonna be a notice of intent. Then what that basically is, that's exactly what it sounds like. You're giving us notice you intend to alter those wetlands. This project is in nowhere in the wetlands. It is absolutely not. Okay, so there's absolutely no reason that this would ever be an NOI. Right?
That's the
If it has to be in the wetlands, so how's it debatable?
because it's within the buffer, the 100-foot buffer. I've seen plenty of NOIs for things that are going, they're just existing within the buffer.
They would have to be within 50 feet or less.
It's our discretion, but, it's
I agree with them.
But the bigger concern with this RDA filing, which I think it's a real big problem, is Keith Realty in fact defunct?
What do you mean defunct?
Point of information, it was dissolved.
It was
Is that-
dissolved by the
okay.
state, 2021.
Please get recognized, okay? I'm gonna give you a formal warning. Just get recognized. I will recognize you, but when we have multiple people speaking over each other, it's a little bit hard to follow the conversation.
Words.
Yeah, I mean,
He
if,
hasn't let anyone speak.
well, they're listed as owner of record, go to Mass GIS map. So listed as owner of record, right?
Okay.
But if they don't exist, then who's the owner of record? So we have to go to deeds and find out?
I don't know if that's, I don't even know if that's in our wheelhouse, the applicant applies. I don't know. I mean, I would say that we could ask town council on that.
I don't feel right. I feel there's some sort of liability here if we're approving someone to do work who's not a legal entity at this point.
Well, according to Ms. Reynolds, they are a legal entity as of today.
No, you
Point of
said-
information,
That was today.
What's your point?
Kimberly Hurley Simons, 11 Molasses Hill Road. I wouldn't be able to file RDA on your property. So who's to say who owns the property if Keith Realty was dissolved?
So a point of information is when you're gonna ask a question as to like a procedural thing. So if you wanna ask a general question, just ask it recognized.
Okay.
So as I understand, filings with the Secretary of State, you have to do an annual filing. And you can be involuntarily dissolved if you don't file it on time. And to be reinstated is a common practice with the Secretary of State. I don't know if that's the case in this case or not, but I think that we're going down a rabbit hole to say, okay, I don't even know if that information that's being presented is accurate or not. Actually, we can look it up, but
Point of order.
what's your point?
I wanted to bring up a couple of things.
Okay, so
It's-
that's,
it's
I'm
up-
gonna call that out of order. A point of order is when you think that we're doing a procedural mistake wrong. If you wanna get recognized, just raise your hand and say, I'd like to speak.
Well, I did, and you said, I'll get to you in a minute.
Right.
You went on, and then you said you'd get to me in a minute again. I've raised my hand.
Right, our meeting's not over. It's far from being over.
But I wanted to address several things that different members had said, just to clarify, because I had looked it up.
Okay. But before you continue, just hold that thought for 1 second, okay? So the question on us right now is how we're gonna proceed with the open meeting law complaint. That's what we have on our agenda right now. If we're gonna go exploring other things as far as the RDA and the application, then I think that we need to put that on for a different meeting. That way there are other members of the public that have an interest in this, have an opportunity to come in and be heard. Because it's not fair to the people of Brookfield that this was not on our agenda, that we were gonna talk about this.
I move we go to executive session.
I second.
Hold on 1 second. The motion has been made to go into executive session, and it has been seconded. We'll have debate on the motion. What reason would we go into executive session?
The possible legal implications.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think we need to go into executive session, so I second the motion.
Okay, the motion's been seconded. It's already been seconded. You can't second it again. It's already been
Well, I'm
seconded
gonna
once, okay?
second it as many
All right.
times
So
as
again,
need be.
we're gonna go into executive session. Can you tell me what number on the executive session exemptions that we're going into? Because if we're about to exclude the entire public body, the public audience, I'd like to know what reason we're doing that. Because I believe in total, we have total transparency, not.
Some legal liabilities, so which is, you have that option. Yeah, I didn't mean with my question to have to force you into whatever, but I just wanted to raise the question that this seems to me, just listening to everything, that there is some legal situation here that maybe, needs to be addressed.
So Bill, do you want to explain?
All right, so I'd say number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to the collective bargaining or litigation of an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the public body or the chair, so declares. So I would say number 3.
So you guys say number 3? Okay, and then as far as open meeting law, we're doing that, it's not on our agenda. You guys are okay with that?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we want to give the audience an estimate? Because it's not like, are we thinking 5 minutes?
I have no idea. I'm not the one that.
I know, we're gonna reconvene though, right? After.
Yeah, we're gonna
So
reconvene.
Bill, are we thinking it's gonna be 5 to 10 minutes, that
Yeah,
type of thing, so we can
we
give the
can
audience
reconvene
that probably wants to come
separately.
back?
Okay, so the Brookfield Conservation Commission is gonna go into executive session as a motion. Is there any more discussion on the motion? Okay, all in
And
favor?
one of us will come back out as soon as we're
We
done.
will,
That's-
we
we'll
will
get
come
you.
back into open session. Is there any further discussion?
Sorry, everyone.
No.
All right, all
Sorry,
right.
guys.
Aye.
So we need to make sure these things are.
Yeah, Chris can't record, yeah, and this can't record either.
He doesn't want to be added.
I'll close the doors. I was closing the doors. If you want to leave your stand there, we'll probably be back in 5 minutes, so. Thank you for shutting it down.